There's a version of you that terrifies your excuses. A version so focused, so sharp, so brutally smart, it makes the distractions tremble. But that version doesn't appear by chance. It isn't born. It's constructed. So if you've ever felt like you're behind, like you're not good enough, like you can't keep up, good. That means you're alert. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to build a mind that slices through the noise, takes full command, and ultimately wins. If you want to become dangerously smart, start by being absolutely honest about one thing. You don't know yourself as well as you believe. That's not meant to be harsh. It's the starting point. Most people move through life on autopilot, reacting to events, repeating behaviors, making choices not based on deep thought, but based on old programming, the same habits, the same justifications, the same inner conversations. And they wonder why nothing changes. They think the issue is external, in the job, in the relationship, in the missed opportunity. But the real barrier is you not understanding how your own mind operates. Self-awareness is the bedrock of powerful intelligence because it gives you leverage. You cannot defeat a system you don't understand, and your brain is a system. It's a pattern-making machine conditioned by years of repetition, feedback, stress, victories, defeats, and emotions. Every thought you have, every response you make, every belief you maintain, has been built through a loop that you likely didn't even choose. But here's the good news. Once you can identify the pattern, you can shatter the pattern. That's when things shift. That's when clarity hits. That's when intelligence becomes potent because it's guided with clear purpose. Think about it. What if the main reason you're stuck isn't a lack of intelligence, but because you haven't taken time to grasp what truly motivates you, why you get anxious in certain situations, why you undermine your own success, or why you talk yourself out of things you know you want? That's not random behavior. It's programming. And powerful intelligence begins when you start looking inward instead of constantly reacting to the outside world. Now, let's get practical. Want to build self-awareness? Start tracking your emotional responses. When something upsets you, don't just react. Pause and ask, why did that affect me so strongly? What underlying belief is being triggered right now? Most people avoid this because they're too busy assigning blame or looking for escape. But the smartest people reflect. They get curious about their own triggers. They analyze their reactions not to criticize themselves, but to understand themselves. Because when you understand what drives you, you stop being a puppet pulled by unseen strings and you become the one who pulls the strings. Another way to develop powerful self-awareness is to examine your habits, especially the ones you overlook. The way you talk to yourself in the mirror, the first thing you reach for when you wake up, the excuses you create when it's time to do something difficult. Your habits are mirrors. They show what you believe about yourself. And if you pay attention, they'll reveal everything you need to know about what's happening beneath the surface. The smartest people aren't just great at reading and thinking. They're great observers. They study their own behavior like a scientist observes an experiment. They look for patterns. They notice when they're spiraling. They catch themselves sliding into negativity or distraction. And instead of shaming themselves, they make an adjustment. That's what makes them potent. They aren't flawless. They are aware. And awareness leads to better choices. Here's the key. Real intelligence isn't measured by what you know. It's measured by how well you manage what's happening inside you. You can be the most educated person in the room and still self-destruct if you don't know how to handle your emotions, your impulses, or your thought loops. That's why people who seem average on paper often create massive success. They have a deep understanding of how they function, and they use that awareness to learn quickly, adapt faster, and execute when it matters most. Ask yourself, where am I misleading myself? Because self-deception destroys growth. Maybe you're telling yourself you're too busy, or not ready, or that now isn't the right time. But deep down, you know those are defense mechanisms designed to shield you from discomfort, not to help you grow. If you want to unlock your mind's full potential, you have to stop hiding behind fabricated stories. Tear them down. Be honest about what you want, what you fear, and what's actually holding you back. There's a reason awareness feels unsettling, because it exposes everything you've been avoiding. But in that exposure lies power. Once you see something clearly, you can change it. You can redirect it. You can improve it. And when you do that repeatedly, day after day, with discipline and honesty, you build a level of intelligence that can't be counterfeited. It becomes essential to who you are. And here's what happens next. Your decisions become sharper. Your confidence grows not from hype, but from truth. You don't need external approval because you know who you are. You don't collapse under pressure because you've studied how you react to stress. You don't get trapped in mental loops because you've trained yourself to notice when you're slipping. That's what powerful intelligence looks like. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's calm, focused, and brutally self-aware. So, if you want to become dangerously smart, begin with this: learn your patterns. Accept your flaws. Catch yourself in the moment. And every time you become more aware of what's truly going on inside you, smile, because you just took one step closer to becoming unstoppable. You live in a time when knowledge is unlimited. You can learn anything, literally anything, without ever setting foot in a classroom. You have lectures in your pocket, expert opinions in your feed, and tutorials available instantly. And yet, people are stuck. People are overwhelmed, paralyzed, and unable to move forward. Not because they don't have enough information, but because they don't utilize it. The truth is, intelligence in this generation isn't about what you know. And this is where most people fall behind. They finish the book and feel like they've succeeded. They listen to a podcast and think, that's it. I'm transforming my life. They mark every quote in a self-help book. And yet, their habits don't change. Their lives don't shift. The ideas remain in their head and never reach their actions. They confuse consumption with progress. And that confusion is costing them everything. See, when you only consume, you become a library. Impressive on the outside, but untouched, and used, and stationary on the inside. You gather ideas but never deploy them. You store strategies but never implement them. You know what to do, but you simply don't do it. And here's the harsh truth. Ideas without execution are worthless. The world doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you do. The smartest people in the world aren't the ones with the highest IQs. They're the ones who take what they've learned and act on it quickly. They learn, test, adjust, and refine repeatedly. Because intelligence today is no longer about having access to knowledge. It's about speed to action. Think about it. You've already read about morning routines, productivity shortcuts, emotional control, time management, and communication skills. You've seen the quotes, shared the videos, maybe even taken notes, but has it changed how you show up tomorrow morning? Has it changed how you respond under pressure? Has it changed how you guide yourself through difficult times? If not, the problem isn't the information. It's the lack of activation. You're letting knowledge sit still. And when knowledge sits too long without movement, it dies. Turns into guilt, regret, and frustration. That's when you say, I know what to do. I'm just not doing it.